guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale, and today is a big episode. I am going to discuss one of the most common requests for a video on my channel. How to contend on ladder, whether you're a free-to-play player or just a non-max player or maybe even a max player, how to reach that next threshold, whether you're trying for Arena 10 to unlock those legendaries or, like I said, you're just going for a new personal best. Hopefully we'll cover all the tips that you need in today's video to help you have a better game plan on ladder. But before we get to that, I just arrived back to my office at CWA headquarters here in Massachusetts from Helsinki. I was visiting the Brawl Stars team over in Finland, but more news on that coming soon, hopefully, on their end. But today, I arrived at the office and I got a package from NyteOwl. Some of you might know him. He's a YouTuber. I actually saw a video that Chief Pat did with NyteOwl a few months back. It was probably quite a while ago. I just commented in the section, really cool that a subscriber did that for you. Basically, he made a real-life battle deck. Most of you probably saw the video. It was really cool. And wouldn't you know, NyteOwl, out of the kindness of his heart, went and made me one too. I am so excited. It's like Christmas morning here on CWA. Check it out, guys. I gotta show you this. It's a real life wooden battle deck. Check it out. He even included all the new cards that I know Pat doesn't have in his collection. And you can see, guys, I have the Mega Knight up here, my favorite card, Ice Wizard. Oh, Ice Wizard. Oh gosh, can I take him off? Oh my god, he's like stuck on there. Okay, so Ice Wizard, the cool thing about this deck is you can remove a card, and I have a new favorite card that I want to share with you guys as everything falls apart here. It is me. I am also a legendary card. Now, I think he made Pat cost, I don't know, 9 or 10 Elixir. I'm a cheap legendary. It probably matches my skill on the game, but you can see right there, I am a Clash Royale card. I thought this would be really, really cool. Special thanks to NyteOwl YouTube. Make sure you go show him some love. Maybe I'll try to hang it up on these bricks if I can. I'll have to like go to Home Depot or something. And he can whoa. I was going to say this can join Baby Dragon in the background, but where's Baby Dragon? Oh, and Baby Dragon feeling left out there. Here he is. All right, Baby Dragon, go in your position, dude. All right. Everything is good. Now we can start with the main video. Again, huge shout out to NyteOwl. That was really kind and creative of you to do, man. Awesome, awesome gift. So let's get into the video today. In this episode, we're going to be discussing a number of things. Number one is how to construct a deck for ladder, deck building strategy. Number two is the best way to spend your gold and your gems. Number three, the 4 stages of the game in general. Man, that sounds really dry, huh? All right, boys and girls, we're going to discuss the 4 stages of the game. I promise it won't be that boring in the video. Tips for playing players who are higher level than you. That's a really important one. And substitutions for a deck for ladder. How to take out that legendary and substitute with a common or rare card. Is it even necessary? We'll talk about that as well. And lastly, we're going to share some great high percentage win rate decks for ladder for you guys to check out. I'll be putting those on the overlay in just a bit. So let's start out with upgrade strategy. This is the basics, right? So, you know, early level arenas, you're just going to try to get by, basically. I mean, there's not a great upgrade strategy. You're given a few epic cards. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this really early level stuff because it's pretty self-explanatory, right? You're just going to use a deck that works for you, try to get to like arena 5, 6, 7 eventually, okay? And you want to focus on using 1 win condition or maybe 2, the Giant, the Hog, for example, and then building a deck supplementing those 2 win conditions. And that's going to carry over really no matter what arena level you are at. So the win conditions that I suggest for you guys are going to be obviously Hog, Mortar, Royal Giant, and Giant. Just be careful with Giant early on because a lot of people are running Barbarians and Minion Horde. A lot of hard counters to Giant. So if you're early level arena, I would actually hold off on Giant. I would go with a Hog deck. Hog decks are really strong basically throughout the game. You could even combo it with like a Goblin Barrel, even though Goblin Barrel is an epic card. Now that actually translates to higher level arenas as well. There are some exceptions that I feel that you can use depending on your arena level level for epic cards as well, and even one legendary. So the legendary is Lava Hound. It's one of the first legendaries that you have the ability to unlock, and what you can do is, especially in Arena, 8 and 9, you can get by with level 1 Lava Hound pretty easily, and then you can combo it with Balloon. Focus on requesting balloons on the Epic Sundays, though, if you're going to be a Lava Loon player. If that's what you feel is going to be your deck that you want to plant your flag in, okay? Otherwise, again, Hog, Mortar, Royal Giant are really good win conditions. 2 commons, 1 rare that you're going to want to use, especially in mid-level arenas, and even Hog and Mortar specifically, and Royal Giant. Let's face it, it is what it is, guys, right? Don't kill the messenger. Kill Supercell. Well, don't kill anybody, but, blame Supercell. Jeez, Ash. I'm going to edit this out, man. They're going to be like, dude, you're out, Ash. Tell people to kill us, you're out. I meant that rhetorically. So anyway, we talked about the types of win conditions that you're going to want to level up. That's all noob stuff. That's stuff that you guys probably already know. So let's go over one more kind of technical thing, and then we'll get into the stages of the game and how to face higher level people and stuff like that, right? So the goals of upgrading, basically you want to focus, if you can, you want to focus on upgrading one specific deck higher than the rest of your decks, or the rest of your go-to win conditions. For every win condition, there's supplemental cards that fit well with it. You want to find and focus on one deck, or at least one archetype. Basically, you want to level up commons that are really good at supporting your favorite win conditions, or maybe win condition, singular, not plural, right? So what you want to do is, once you find the deck that you really want to roll with, say you want to roll as a Hog cycle player, that's what you want to be. You want to focus on your win condition first and foremost. So the Hog is going to be the card that you're always going to want to request if possible. You're always going to want to target upgrading your Hog Rider. Having a high level win condition is really important. Number 2 is upgrading your spells. Spells are really important. Some could make the case they're just as important as the win condition itself. Spells have a direct relationship with other cards in the game, so that a higher level spell can one-shot higher or lower level units, like minions, like golem barrels, stuff like that. Fireball can one-shot, a higher level fireball can one-shot musketeers that are one level lower than it. So that's why it's really important to focus on spells. So spells are super important. Request those zaps, request those fireballs. I would hold off personally on Rocket. I think Fireball is more versatile. Request cards that can be used in a larger variety of decks when you're trying to upgrade a specific deck. For example, Archers, Musketeer, these are really universal cards. Goblins that do well, and of course, Zap and Fireball in a lot of different decks. So focus on those cards to supplement your rare or common win condition. Now, I'm going to show you guys some decks on the screen right now. I'll start rolling these while we talk about what I feel are the 4 stages of the game. So the 4 stages of the game, to me, and this is where we're going to be focusing, and all of you guys are going to be at a different level in the game. I'm interested to hear in the comments what stage that you think you are right now. So stage 1 is just getting your cards to tournament level standards, getting to level 9, getting to level 8 and then 9, and then trying to get all your cards, all your legendaries to level 1. You guys know the tournament standards. I'm not going to go through them. Try to get them to tournament level standards. That way, you can farm, so to speak, classic or grand challenges with your gems later on in the game. Phase number 2 is going to be get to Hog Mountain, Arena 10, so you can get that legendary shop open. That's going to allow you to start hopefully saving up 40k gold, and then unlocking selectively your favorite legendary cards. Or if you're a baller, it doesn't matter to you to spend a little gems, upgrading every legendary that comes in that shop, at least getting one of them, okay? So obviously this is not a free-to-play only episode, but I want to kind of cater towards the free-to-play audience, the casual audience, and the competitive audience all in one video. So phase number 3 of the game, max out those rare win conditions, specifically Giant, 3 Musketeers, and Hog Rider. Max those out, try working on maxing out your Mortar. Whatever your favorite win condition is, you want to focus on trying to max that out. That means you'll be requesting only that card, every single card request that you can possibly get, and that means, we'll get to this in a second about spending your gold and your gems, but that means you're going to want to spend your gold on if that one card that you chose to upgrade appears in your shop. So phase 4 of the game is starting to max out your legendary or your epic and your legendary cards. That takes a long time. Me personally, I only have 2 max epic cards. I say only, of course, I have been playing and spending since the very first day that the game was released in beta over a year and a half ago now. So, of course, it's been a while. I'm still not anywhere close to there, but that's where you can really unlock that top 200 global potential when you start maxing out your epics and having those level 4 or 5 legendary cards. So those are the 4 stages of the game. Curious again, where's my audience at? Where are you guys at in that kind of trajectory of the game experience, if you will? Okay, the best way to spend your gold and your gems, in my opinion. Of course, you got to do what's right for you. If you disagree with me, no hate at all, right? Do what you feel comfortable with. But this would be my strategy for using my gold. I would not gem open chests in the chest cycle. That's not, I used to do that, but now I don't really do it anymore. I think that you're better off spending your gold in other ways, right? So what I would do with my gold is, if I didn't have a lot of legendary cards, I would try to always save up 40k and use that as my bare minimum that I want to have in my bank, so to speak. So that way I could unlock good legendary cards when they appear in my shop if I'm at Arena 10. Otherwise, I would also not buy other cards besides unlocking legendaries. I wouldn't buy them unless they're one of my go-to cards that we talked about earlier. So I would spend gold upgrading my rare card, my rare win condition. For example, the Hog Rider. If the Hog appeared in my shop and I was a Hog player, of course, I would spend however much I felt comfortable with to buy those Hogs to get towards that next level. Otherwise, I'm not buying cards in the shop. It's not the best way to spend your gems or your gold. What you want to do is instead use the gems instead of buying gold with it to buy cards, or instead of using your gold to buy cards directly from the shop. Just get more game experience grinding out either classic challenges or grand challenges. By far and away, victory challenges are the best way to get more cards and gold in the game. That is the equivalent of farming in Clash of Clans. Victory challenges are, again, guys, I can't stress it, they're the best way to upgrade your cards. Second to tournaments, but it takes a long time to grind out and do well in tournaments to get cards, because essentially there's no cost to the tournament participant, okay? But however, I would focus on grand and classic challenges unless you're the best player in the world and you can take first in every tournament that you enter. So that would be how I would spend my gems and my gold. Now, let's get to the substitution problem, right? So the substitution problem is something I get asked a lot about, and my best advice would be the golden rule of ladder. Card levels matter. Card levels really matter a lot on ladder, guys. It's very, very key, not only in the small exchanges that we talked about earlier, but just in the overall DPS that a card has, damage per second, and the overall defensive effectiveness of your defensive cards. It's really important, especially with spells again. So because they matter so dramatically on ladder, I would recommend that you make substitutions on decks that you find on a YouTube channel, on a Twitch stream, or on statsroyale.com, or wherever you go, TV Royale, to find your decks. I would recommend, if you want to use them for ladder, you should substitute. It's very smart to do. You can substitute commons for rares or commons for legendaries and epics. Epics are a big problem. Epics are very difficult to level up for ladder. So you want to think of realistic substitutions that have the same utility of the card that you're trying to substitute for. Now, there's no one size fits all, right? That's the trouble here. In some decks, you're better off subbing a musketeer for an E-Wiz. In other decks, you're better off subbing archers for an E-Wiz. It all depends on what the role of that card is in the deck that you're trying to use it for. Okay, so this is a big subject. Let me kind of narrow down a few examples of what I would recommend. So for epics and legendary cards, I would recommend subbing in a Dart Goblin for Princess and a bait deck, for example. A Fireball for Poison, that's a big one. I wouldn't be using Poison personally, unless you're running minor poison, and maybe even then I wouldn't be running poison on ladder if I didn't have it maxed out. I would use my rare fireball instead and try to adjust accordingly. Fireball has some advantages that poison doesn't, so it's not like it's an automatic loss for you. You just have to know how to adjust. I would substitute arrows for princess as well on ladder, unless I'm in an early level arena where a level 1 princess you can kind of get by with. Again, it's all arena specific, but you guys tend to know, you probably have a pretty good feel which of your cards are under leveled and which might be a little bit over leveled. So it all depends on the individual. However, I can't stress enough, even me personally, I'm a level 13, I'm at 5,800, 5,900 cups. What am I doing? I'm still substituting, guys. I'm still not using my level 3 E-Wiz at almost 6,000 cups. Instead, I'm going to sub in that Musketeer in my Hog deck because, you know, in some cards you don't have to. Some cards like Tornado, you don't have to sub for it because Tornado is good no matter the level. So having a kind of a keen awareness of all these cards and where their strengths are and what ones you should prioritize in upgrading. 2 cards you don't have to worry about prioritizing upgrade for the most part, are Elixir Collector and Tornado. So, Musketeer for E-Wiz, again, arrows for Princess, Inferno Tower for Inferno Dragon. One more Elixir, but it has more versatility in some ways, and it's just better to have that high-level rare than that low-level legendary in a lot of circumstances. Okay, so tips for playing players who are higher level than you. This is another common one, and let me stress, guys, there's really no easy answer here, but here are a few of my best tips before we end this video. Number 1 is, and the big most important one, is use your tower as a resource. This is so important, guys. I can't stress it enough. What does using your tower as a resource even mean? Well, essentially it means using your crown tower or playing more often defensively, passively. Even if you have an aggressive deck, let your opponent come to you. That way you can get that added DPS of your tower. It's like the 6th man on the field. It's going to help you out dramatically. So use your tower. So play a little bit more passively when you're going up against somebody who has higher level cards. Then hopefully you can make positive elixir trades to give you the momentum to pull off a giant counter push eventually throughout the match. So I would recommend changing your play style just a little bit versus tournament level standard or versus having a max deck to play a little bit more passively, trying to use your tower's health and DPS as a huge asset during the match. So playing more defensively, over-leveled players also might get a little bit frustrated if they can't break through to your tower. I mean, think about it. They're higher level than you. They probably go into the match thinking they're gonna crush you. And they can get really aggressive and really frustrated if you're able to stymie their pushes time and time again. They'll play even more aggressively oftentimes, and that's when you can really punish them. And then the last, and probably another really important tip, besides using the tower as your resource, number 2 or 1B would be play the Elixir Collector. This is a tip that I actually got from Clyde, one of the most famous free-to-play players out there. He says using your Elixir Collector is incredibly important. It can give you so much value, even in decks that don't normally call for an Elixir Collector. It can give you a huge Elixir advantage. It's essentially kind of like a hack that you can use if you can protect it, even if you have a lower level Elixir pump. Try putting an Elixir pump if you're running into constant players who are higher level than you. Using that Elixir Collector is one of the only cards in the game. It is the only card in the game that can create a positive Elixir advantage for you. So even if you're having trouble in a Hog cycle deck, think about, if you're going against over-leveled players, guys, think about adding the Elixir Collector. It's a magic card. Again, the only card that can give you an Elixir advantage, which will be very valuable in making that victory over the higher level opponent. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Another huge shout out to NyteOwl for giving me this battle deck. I love this deck, guys. Thank you so much to all of you guys for your support. Huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information in the description below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.